Hello, fellow Factorians, and welcome back to my Pyanodons challenge run. During the last episode, I set up new lead processing and hopefully did not poison myself in the process. I also added a few more Vrauks, finished off a Pi 1 build that had been sitting there unconstructed for a while, turned up Pi 1 signs just a skosh, and also set up a quartz build and molten glass that from that quartz that isn't hooked up, but spoiler alert, will have to be. Because during the hands-off period, while science ran really well, and I got to chop down like 2 giant forests, filling up 2 steel chests worth of logs, toward the end, I noticed that quite a few things are like on the cusp of dying. Number one, my syngas system is stretched too thin. I had set up something to make gasoline not void itself, and therefore was supposed to like help syngas catch up if it was being used. But the buffer for gasoline is too big, and the production of gasoline is too slow, so that's not really helping out the way I thought it would. There's too much creosote, and that's stopping my tar processing from running, so I'll have to add a little bit more creosote voiding. But also I should make sure that naphthalene and anthracene are not being voided, if they could also help out with the fuel gas problem. So yeah, the needle on too much fuel gas versus too little fuel gas just keeps wavering back and forth. Besides that problem, I'm starting to run low on molten glass. Yeah, the quartz build that I set up also slightly presentient, because yeah, I need to hook that thing up and get it going. Otherwise, I will be running low on molten glass pretty soon. And finally, the iron processing 2 build that supplies a ton of small parts for automation science and iron for my bootstrap base is starting to get taxed more and more, because the iron processing 1 build is running out of metals and therefore producing fewer of the small parts. The other one is making more of them, and that means that less and less iron is going to my bootstrap base. Pretty soon, I'm just not going to be able to keep building if I don't add more iron production somewhere. So I laid down a huge new iron processing build in a new area. So I had planned on doing titanium this episode. I don't know if I'm going to get to it because there are so many things to address. Okay, one more channel note. I've decided to add codas to the end of my episodes. These codas are going to consist of music that I like, that I've generated, that some of you may not like because they will include things like lyrics. I know that's contentious. Turn off the volume if you want to watch it. While I just run builds that are that I've built. Normally, I run away from them immediately because of this artificial time pressure that I've created for myself. But I figure some of you might want to watch a build running. And I can put on music that I feel like adding. So just turn off the volume if you hate that stuff, or don't feel free to not watch those pieces if you don't really want to. But yeah, I thought it might be nice for a few people. Feel free to keep suggesting things. I will definitely be chasing off down option number 2 that I proposed earlier. Another thing that I did during hands off was look at the technologies and switch away from chasing down Vrauks too aggressively and aim more towards trains and other things that are going to help me in the longer term. So thank you for those comments. I'm glad we all kind of agreed that option number 2 was the best. Anyway, if the game is not producing enough hot air, I certainly am. So I'm going to just jump into building and see you there. So many things to do. Let's look at my task list for a moment. Many of these things are kind of optional. I probably should have broken apart which ones were and which ones weren't. Yeah, I need to address those 3 big problems that I mentioned in the voiceover. First one that I'm going to address is a combination of the lack of liquid fuel and the lack of molten glass, because I did a little miscounting somewhere and I need to do a fix. Let's go into hands-on mode, collect a few materials to build with, and then I'm going to head over and do some stuff and be right back. So it turns out I miscounted how much hot air based petri dishes I needed, and I should have had 4 of these guys rather than 3. And this will both help make a little bit more coke oven gas, which will add to my liquid fuel, and also help me reduce the amount of molten glass that I use. So just a quick fix on how I sort this, and yeah. I just need to fix a couple of places, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll. Hopefully will mean that I won't be running out of molten glass pretty soon. I'd like to empty out this, actually. Yeah, because I would like to take away maybe 2 of these down here. I can use these glassworks elsewhere, and at this point I kind of depend on a certain amount of hot air, so might as well just acknowledge that rather than pretend that I could try and run this whole system without it. I also want to get rid of these petri dish buffers eventually, and now when I'm running low is a perfect time to throw a few into the system. So it's going to get rid of a few. I don't want to get rid of too many because, well, my system is kind of based on a certain equilibrium. An equilibrium that can be adjusted. I mean, like, clearly, like, there were some changes, like I filled up on pitch, and I also stopped voiding gasoline, and many things changed, and things kind of kept pace, but yeah, the strain was showing, so time to clear out a few more items here. Just connecting a few lines to be ready to start using this next quartz build. But first I'm going to do a few more quick fixes rather than tackling that. Alright, I think this is working, and I've got plenty of time in hands-on mode for a failure, so for now I'm going to set this aside and go work on something else. Next thing I need to do is add a little bit more creosote voiding. When I stopped voiding gasoline to try and catch up on my syngas demand, I had too much creosote in my system, and I'd rather just be able to void it rather than wait. So yeah, let's do that. I also want to adjust these buffers here. For instance, gasoline doesn't get made that fast when it is when it is backing up, so I can take away a little bit of buffer here. Other buffers, though, should be as large as they are, I think. So let's take away 1 for naphthalene and 1 for anthracene. I do like how I line these up. I don't like how it's kind of hard to tell where they are because of the way the tanks overlap, but it is what it is. Alright, let's fix that, and I'll use those tanks elsewhere real soon. Next, I want to add this creosote voiding through more treated wood. So be right back after I've set this up. I've kind of just eyeballed the number of steam engines I can support here, so might be wrong about how many I need. Should be okay, though. Yeah, now we're going. Probably can take away these 2 over here on the left side when I need to be able to void more chitin too. So that's another benefit. I just need to set up a caravan to take this treated wood away, and should be all set. So let's see, how's my syngas doing at the moment? The radar network will tell me, or if I check here. Oh, it's full again. Wonderful. So I do want to enhance the size of the syngas buffer a bit. It's too small at the moment for how quickly it gets used, and that means that I can't kind of like keep up with it. But I've got a couple more things that I can do. First, I can set this up so that I only pump in cocoa and gas to make bricks when syngas is sufficient. So set that up here, just put a radar down and another, basically like the gasoline. Nice part here is that there's no buffering with this coke oven gas, really, so as soon as syngas dips, it should click on and help take over when syngas has been used up too much. So now I've got syngas taking over, there's not enough coal gas, and kind of vice versa. Another thing I can do is move this pump. I'm going to move this down to basically here. I need this front half of the build to run. I mean, I need half of these gas furnaces to always run, so it's good to provide them always with syngas. These middle set can be optional because the stone furnaces can take over if necessary. So that's yet another backup plan for insufficient syngas. Glad I caught this in time. Anyway, I'm going to add a little bit more buffer and then slightly reroute some crystal mines, which will also help with my molten glass problem. But then I'm going to have to hook up that quartz mine because there's no other choice in the long term for keeping up with the amount of molten glass that I'm going to need. So let's slightly reroute this. Basically, there's 8 miners in a row here, so only half of this one gets used up, or rather, the half of the one at the back gets used up. So instead, I can give myself effectively an extra half miner by doing this. All right, now that's taken care of. So next, I'm going to work on hooking up the quartz mine that I started working on last episode. See if there's any short-term tasks that I can address first. Yep, fix this. That's for later. Fix this. Iron ore for steel belt. That's later. No, later. I don't think I'm going to do this one. Sorry. Increase syngas buffer. Did that. Prevent cog from going to stone furnaces or the gas furnaces if syngas low. Did that. Adjust syngas limits and iron priority. Let me fix this iron priority issue. I want the iron to always flow here to the left to make sure that basically this build can focus on feeding the creation of empty planters boxes, and soon I will have more than enough small parts to just run a full belt of small parts off of the caravan network. So yeah, as this build slowly dies, I repurpose it more and more to just a narrower focus. Eventually I will need to caravan in some iron plate too, but not today. Alright, next. Decided I reduced the gasoline buffer. I didn't need to do the other ones. Increase creosote voiding. I did that. Hopefully it's working fine now. No issues. Well, I guess I stopped voiding gasoline, so it became unnecessary. So, next task to do to hook up that quartz mine. So I need to grab a few things and be back. While I'm just here, I'm going to adjust my copper routing a bit, kind of tighten this up so that I can fit in what I'm hoping to fit in just a moment, which is, well, not just a moment, but soon. I want to fit in construction of concrete grid. I feel like I need something more than 2 types of concrete and wooden floorboards to decorate properly, although, just me decorating properly is maybe a pipe dream anyway. So, but I'm going to try. I have been so far, so, I'm giving it the old college try. Right, let's do that. And then this will fit in somewhere here, here's fine. I just need to get it some iron ore. Next, yeah, going back to that quartz mine. Be back after I've collected stuff to go work on that. Geez, how many iron miners did I just pull out of the that iron patch this time? Well, good thing I'm going to be addressing it very, very soon. Alright, I might see some thrashing as I try and get fuel down here, but once the molten glass starts flowing up and overall, like, somewhere, some sort of the fuel backs up, and I probably need to prioritize this molten glass anyway, so I'm going to take care of that in a moment. I also need to set up a caravan to take the... Why do you not have fuel, but you do? Interesting. Anyway, once I need a set up caravan to take away the bricks that are being made here now. This will be a must priority brick delivery system. Alright, now that build will only work to top up the needs of the glass up here. Although maybe I should set it up to, I don't know, partially take over. Alright, hopefully I've done my plumbing correctly and this will work. This is running at least. See how we're looking in other areas. Particularly the coke oven gas. Is that being routed through? Yeah, so syngas is full again. I'll have to keep an eye on the situation. Where's the syngas? There it is. That's only half full. Alright, so you shut down, and then coke oven gas and take over here, which is, yeah, exactly desirable. Okay, now I need to build this monstrosity, and this monstrosity, and this and that. So yeah, this is a lot of work, especially because of how I've chosen to implement my new iron build, but I was having fun with designs, and, you know, like, sometimes you just gotta be creative when you feel like being creative. Otherwise, I'd get bored, and maybe you'd get bored, although some of you might be saying, why is he changing his design for iron processing yet again? And as I will say, just because I felt like it. Pretty much just because I felt like it. I'll run this this pipe over and show it to you briefly before I start getting into building it. So, because I have to run back and forth building pipes a lot anyway. So I've got enough pipes on me to at least do this much. All right. I'm running pitch over here because iron processing will create a lot of stone, and I don't want to just furnace it because, you know, like, I might end up running low on stone. But one of the things that caused my whole situation with things fluctuating is because I backed up on pitch, so tar processing slowed down, so less liquid fuel because of that. Because I finally filled up many Rauch buffers that were necessary to get the lower two tiers of bricks full. Now, if this was full and sitting around, that would be bad because this is the must-use bricks. But the fact that these two are sitting around full is not a problem. Okay, so this is the massive build that I'll be building for iron processing. What's changed about it? Well, I decided to try and go as compact as possible. So this build, makes as much iron as the blueprint that I used last time in other places. Let's see where it is. Well, I'll just copy it from elsewhere. This one. Basically this build. These two are similar, except one is much smaller. Well, one is much... the new one is shorter. It's a little longer in this way, but that's because I'm also building small parts here, so the length is actually the same as well. It's just a lot shorter. So I compactified this by playing around with it for a long time, basically. And also adding gas furnaces in the mix here. So these gas furnaces kind of let me squoosh things together because they can stand in the place of up to 3 regular stone furnaces. And like I said, I just did it for fun. I wanted to. And to run these gas furnaces, I'm actually going to implement some coke oven gas creation kind of inline here, not too far away. It doesn't take a lot of coke oven gas to run these, so yeah, just will make sure that runs. It'll make a little bit of bonus hot air for me, but if that bonus hot air is not used, it will just use the hot coke oven gas rather than the cooled down, de-energized coke oven gas. So yeah, that's about it. And then I have to build. So I have to build that coke oven gas build. I have to, which is really small, and the hot air build, which is a small one as well, because I just don't need much of it, and a copper build because I don't want to try and run a belt. Plus, my copper is insufficient for needs as it is. So yeah, get all that done in this episode. And then I was thinking of doing titanium too. How was I imagining I was ever going to get that done? So yeah, this will just take a lot of materials, so I might as well send some out while I talk. Oh, another thing to briefly mention. This mining setup looks weird if you look at it, especially once it's no longer in Blueprint, because it'll be easier to see. The reason I did it this weird way is I've given the middle patch less redundancy, like the ones that are sitting in the middle here, like might have a little bit of redundancy, but the miners around the edges have a lot of redundancy because the edges die first. They have the least amount of iron ore to exploit. So trying to do that kind of to balance out the dwindling of the iron ore patch. But this one is huge. It's 250 million versus the one that is dying start out at just at 50 million. So it will last for a long time, which is another reason what I've done is possibly silly, because it might last to the point that I have a new better iron processing recipe. I need to get 2 of them, actually. The next one, the next iron processing, kind of sucks, to be honest. It kind of just sucks. It is too resource intensive for what it does. So I think I'm not going to use it like most people don't use it, or they use it to avoid oxygen or something like that, because it just kind of sucks. But the one after that, which is near the beginning of logistics science, is better. Yeah, this mining patch might last to then, and then I would have to take it apart, this build apart, because you need the processed iron to do the next stage of refining there. So yeah, again, I realize I'm just having fun. So, I babbled for a while, told you what I'm going to be doing, and now you're going to listen to a lot of music because there is a lot of building to do. I'm probably going to give you, like, even at 20x speed, it's going to be like 5 minutes of building. Anyway, to the time machine. I don't know how long this has been for you guys, but I'm like 40 minutes deep into the episode, and I've just managed to chuck most of what I need for these builds out here into my inventory. So, yeah, this is going to be a long run. But that's okay. When I get back during the next episode, there will be plenty of new metal processing builds to make. So we'll have fun with that. Anyway, back to throwing down several of these builds. Alright, and that is the copper build setup, including the caravans that we'll need to take away the bricks that are made here. I have, oops, I didn't set the recipe here, nor did I hook up the, seems like I've been forgetful. Okay, well, something to work on. Anyway, so this is just some brick production. In this case, I've set it up so that I directly feed the bricks into the caravan as a very, very minor optimization. Another reason that I've managed to pack things in so tightly here is that I'm using coke as the fuel source, and that creates so much less ash. So, yeah, yet another reason I have chosen to do things in this silly but fun manner. So a quick detour to my northern area to do a couple of quick fixes and tasks. Just had an extra tank, so might as well add it to the syngas. I also noticed that a belt balancer is warranted here. Otherwise, I'm not getting my full flow of copper. So much as I hate adding belt balancers, there we go. Then a couple of quick fixes and changes to my coke oven gas area. First of all, I need a way to dispose of a little bit of coke. I'm going to have to do that because the new build that I'm building makes excess coke. Not a lot of excess coke. Most of it will end up getting burnt by the build itself, but might as well do it to make sure that coke doesn't back up. So yeah, I'm just going to add a caravan to quickly dispose of it here. That CO2 build is running all the time, so there's kind of room here to get rid of some coke. Alright, and then I've got a problem with coke oven gas up here. As usual, I left a little mistake in the build, so I might as well go correct this. Oops. Bring enough reinforced concrete with me. Well, hopefully I've got enough for everything else. So the problem is this pipe here needs to be hooked up so that coal dust voiding can void its steam. I just need to hook this up. So many little errors to address. Also that there could be some inserters here that are targeted the wrong side of the belt. Okay, and back to work. The next thing I have to do is add all the crystal miners that I need for that quartz build that I was working on before and that I forgot to add to the mining setup. I also want to check the prioritization there. I really like that build to contribute some of its molten glass so that the quartz builds are not, especially these the oldest one, is not draining out first, which is, I think, what is currently set up to happen. So I've taken care of those crystal miners. Now it's time to go back to blueprint shotgunning more of that iron build. Back soon. right, and this work is mostly done, except I forgot to bring enough electric miners, so I'm going to go grab some, take care of that, and then see what's next on the agenda. I think I am going to do that titanium build. Yeah, the episode is running really, really long, but I did say I was going to do it, and I might as well. Plus, these longer hands-off periods, I think, are better for the pacing of the game. It gives me more time to accrue more technology. I just got 10 processing now, so that's going to be next, and then probably we'll have an accelerate processing as well. So it'll give me 2 things to do if there are no emergencies. Actually, this is a problem. This pump should be filtering both of those sets of gas furnaces, not just one. All right, that's quick and easy fix. Yeah, because I would really rather if coke oven gas needs to be used instead of syngas, that it blocks on both of those. Okay, next. Now these furnaces are overweighted, so I have another place I can send this extra stone to, so I'm going to do that. That sorts out stone. Now to fill in a bunch more electric miners. And that should take care of all the miners that actually have to run to operate this build, so should be in shape for me to set up caravans. I think I want to set up a little bit of an automation, or sorry, small parts priority system for the depot. So I'm going to do that. I would like this build to be providing small parts by priority, the one that is also partially supplying my bootstrap base with parts to be kind of like the second priority. Therefore, my bootstrap base will keep getting stuff all the time. And yeah, that iron patch over there also has less iron ore in it, so better if that one is the one that's doing less work. And now small parts are prioritized. So, off to the titanium build. I just need to collect all the resources for it. It's fairly close and a fairly small build, so it shouldn't take too much time. I'll be back after I've got all the stuff. So, titanium processing. This is a ore processing system that does the grading dance. I think you have actually seen it before with copper, but this one is slightly more intricate. So, the process is you take titanium ore, you process it in an automated screener, make titanium grade 1 and 2. You need exactly 2 automated screeners to fill up a jaw crusher with titanium ore 2, which turns it into titanium grade 1. So all that titanium grade 1 ends up going to another automated screener, which turns it into grade 3 and rejects. The rejects go to a secondary crusher, and the titanium grade 3 is what you actually end up having to smelt. So you also get gravel and stone as a byproduct. So it's a little bit more intricate than the other recipes that we've been doing, but still not too hard. And I've set up this build to do a lot of direct insertion. The ratios are not perfect after you get past that first 2-to-1 screener to jaw crusher, but a bit of overproduction solves the issue. So I'm going to make, okay, I'm going to collect a little bit of conveyor belt and start these mining drills with emptying themselves, so I can get rid of a little bit of the solid fuels and acetylene that is kind of buffered inside of them. And then I'm going to get to work on replacing these with Mark II miners. So I'll be back after I do that. And also I need to get some more belt and power poles. I didn't really restock as well as I could have. Oh, also while I'm at it, I've set up a slightly different way to void all the products here. Instead of just separating them out and putting them on a belt or putting them into individual caravans, I'm going to stuff them all into the same caravan. And then I'll have a place that voids potentially ash, gravel, and bricks up here. Which will be, since there's a couple of processes that make all of those things, the ore processes, this will be a useful place to do it. And I'll be able to void the gravel through concrete, the bricks through landfill production. I need to hook up something here to make sure that I don't overbuild landfill. Like that is ever going to be really a problem, but could potentially be. So yeah, I'm just going to do that here. Okay, let's do this. All this will do is shut off the inserters here when I have, let's say, 10k landfill, which is, oh, I'm already up to 2,000. That's great. Because, yeah, I don't want this steel chest to overfill with landfill, just like I don't want this box to overfill with concrete, since I'm using it as a voiding mechanism. Now, the amount of gravel that I can end up voiding is just massive, so, and the amount of bricks with the other half of that steel chest. So I'm not too worried about those being delivered to buffers. It could be running for 100 hours, and I probably wouldn't soak that up if at the rate I'm making gravel and excess bricks. I do have to set up the caravan schedule in a slightly interesting way. So rather than just saying fill cargo, because it's never going to like fully fill, it's going to have a little bit less stone, for instance, than a full stack. I just have to wait until the gravel is mostly full. So it's going to get like, let's say 24 slots worth of gravel. I think it stacks to 100. Let's double check. Oh, stack size 200. That's great. Even better. Let's do 4,000 gravel then. And then fill your cargo, which will fill up everything else. The other slots with stone and ash, or bricks and ash. And then that caravan can go and drop off here. You do need an awful lot of fluid mining drills to make a buffer, a full belt of titanium ore. So I'm gonna work on putting more of those down, and then I'll attend to the last few chores. Yeah, the episodes are running really late, but that's okay. I've managed to completely run myself out of buffered small parts, so I guess I'm going to do a different thing while I'm waiting for my buffer to pile back up and for me to handcraft a whole bunch more. I want to deliver iron ore to my bootstrap base from the iron patch, and I was going to do this with caravans, but iron ore is such a low density item, it only stacks to 50, that a better way to do it is just to belt it in. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I can do a couple more minor things in my bootstrap base. I'm going to make concrete grid, and I also want to make engine units. So yeah, that's the next thing I'm going to be doing in accelerated time. Be back after I've done each of those things. Alright, we'll call that a good enough. I don't actually need a full belt anyway, so that'll be plenty. I mean, it'll really be plenty. I don't actually need 2.5 titanium per second at the moment either, so just kind of overbuilding for the sake of overbuilding. Let's collect the junk that got onto this belt before I forget about it. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So yeah, now I just need to do what? I need to check to make sure that my base didn't break. So yeah, the standard quitting the game thing to do. Do note that I'm going to do the coda where I show you a build and play some music that I like after this. Also note that it will not be in canonical time, so I'm not going to necessarily be in actual hands-off mode then. I might like empty a buffer to be able to just watch a build actually working at full tilt, that sort of thing. Like this build is not working at full tilt right now, and why not? Because you're not getting enough copper, and you're not getting enough copper because I probably haven't built enough copper. So I think I will build more copper next time. Right at the moment, I'm going to be making more than enough small parts to fill up the buffers and keep automation science flowing. Let's see, besides that, let's check the glassworks. That looks like it's working. Let's check the creosote processing. That's going. Oh, I'm missing a pipe. Okay, I'll go fix that. How's my syngas situation? Oh, it's full. It's pretty full. That's good. Okay. I'm going to fix that missing pipe. Don't know where I suddenly started getting a lot more liquid fuels. Maybe because, probably because I suddenly started dumping a lot more pitch into these processes over here. And when pitch started running again, more tar processing ran. So this is a temporary boost, so it's probably not indicative of things working great as is. Okay, I was thinking of jumping into hands-off mode, but I see a couple more things that I can do. One of them is a thing I planned on and kind of forgot about, which was to add some electric miners to my stone mining over here. These belts are not full, and I can add a little bit more stone mining, which will avoid more carbolic. And during the hands-off period, previous one, I saw that carbolic was not quite fully voided. So yeah, I might as well change this out. And by change this out, I mean just pile on top of it. This will make these miners kind of sideload, which isn't the greatest, but it'll make sure these belts are full now. Okay, next item of business. I spotted that these, well, not a problem right now, but sometimes these are not getting enough fuel, and I'd also remembered, well, I was going to look at this fuel system more, and there needs to be a fix. So I'm going to fix it. The fix is that, as you can see, it's kind of flickering, and that's because coke oven gas gets low, but it doesn't get so low that it stops completely filling this pipe. What I need to do is make it use the same system that I do over here with power processing fluids. There's a latch system, and a latch here would help the whole issue. I'm going to implement one. Be back soon. Okay, I think I've got this working right. Let's hope. So I need 2 pumps in a row as well. This pump stops the coke oven gas from flowing in when there's tar processing stuff to void. I should change this check valve around. I don't think the direction it points actually matters, though it's just a mini tank. And this pump stops, acts as a latch so that this tank needs to be at least reasonably full before it tries to throw coke oven gas into the system. And between the 2 of those, hopefully the fuel system will work better. Then I had one more item. Let's see. Really need this to top up to a higher value. Yes, because these the backup blast furnaces were not running, even though this petri dish belt was empty, which was not the greatest thing. So good thing that was spotted. I'll also void a few more petri dishes since I have them on hand, and it'll help the system catch up where it needs to be. Though it looks like it was not completely failing. At least Pi 1 wasn't running under the limit. Let's throw in a few more. Okay, next item. Is there a next item? I've just touched so many things that this particular game, and this episode has been running so long, there's so many things that potentially need to be fixed. But, okay, so I have a lot of small parts coming in. That is great. Why is this side not running? Yes, it's the copper issue. Duh. Really need to double this build over at some point. I'm not going to do it this time. Somewhat more small parts is enough. I wasn't quite in dire situation here with the small parts coming in, but it was getting there because my bootstrap base was occasionally just not getting the iron that it needed. Like it is now, but like my small parts are still just completely gone. So I'm procrastinating. Basically, I just don't want a failure. I don't want another failure. I'm enjoying my streak of no fails, and I think I have to just say this is an episode. Maybe I need to put a hard limit on things too. Like if I run into 2 hours, I need to shut down no matter what. So anyway, thank you for joining me. Now you get to watch my builds running with music and without all the hot air being generated by me. See you soon.
Dreams of iron, they take their stand. sense a spark, a hiss, the forge ignites. Darkened skies now pierced by light. Gears turn, hearts burn, echoes rise, no return. Brick by brick, it towers high, reaching, screaming toward the sky. Born of flame, forged in strife, a factory of force, a breath of life. Chains that clatter, shadows grow, rivers of molten steel below. The clang of hammers, a choir of might,